to everyone coming through as well. And guys, obviously, normally I have a morning show at 11:30, but again, obviously, things come up. So tomorrow's going to be the same thing. So I'm going to try and give you guys a stream, possibly. It might be in the evening time. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I'll definitely be on at some point tomorrow, I'd say, but definitely no morning stream tomorrow. But as promised, I'll always give you guys a stream when I can. So as I said, it's much appreciated you guys coming through and supporting the channel. It's much appreciated, as I said, each and every time. And guys, as always, mods, make sure you're doing your job as well. So as always, when you come in, guys, make sure you smash the like button, help the channel to grow, and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're new in here as well. So big up yourselves each and every time, guys, and keep your questions and comments coming through as well. Big up. So listen, Balon d'Or, obviously announcement was yesterday. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have spoken about the Balon d'Or winners, etc., and the top 10. So again, I'm going to give you my view on it, and again, those of you that have been watching my channel for any period of time will know that, big up to Sham as well for coming through. You guys will know that, the likely winners and first and second place, I got it spot on, really, and I did think it was going to be between Yamal and Dembele, and rightfully so, you would say, in comparison to the seasons they had. So yeah, we're going to go through Dembele and we're going to go through Yamal, and then we're going to go through the top 10 and see if there's anyone that we can remove from the top 10. And if you guys think that any other players should be in there, because for me, there's a certain player that wasn't in that top 10, which I was very surprised at. But again, I think there's no surprise that the winner was Ousmane Dembele. Again, what's Dembele's numbers, guys? I put some notes down. So yeah, Dembele, 51 goals and assists combined in 53 appearances. So again, I'm not someone that cares about stats, but I think when we're looking at the Balon d'Or, the Balon d'Or is always whoever wins the most trophies, most notably the Champions League, and who has the best numbers. And I think it's quite obvious that that Ousmane Dembele was going to be the front runner. I think the fact that he had that much GA in one season, and the fact that PSG, who obviously won Team of the Year as well, and he won the Champions League, I think it was obvious that Dembele was going to get it. Me personally, I would have given it to Lamine Yamal, because I generally do think Yamal is the best player in the world. And again, it's not based on stats. It's just based on, if you're looking at his age, the guy's been doing it since he was 16. Obviously made his debut for Barcelona at 15 as well. And he's been a key player for club and country at the age of 16. So I think it was obvious for me that Yamal would be the winner. But I think giving it to Dembele, I'm not too fussed, really. So I do like Dembele. I think Dembele is a very good player. And I think in terms of what Luis Enrique has done for Dembele, I mean, who would have seen Dembele playing as a false nine? Because I'll be honest with you, I never saw that coming. As much as I've watched Dembele throughout the years, Dembele's always been a winger, right or left winger. Even Dembele, when he came through at Rennes, he was obviously playing as a right winger, and then got that move to Borussia Dortmund, played more as a right winger, sometimes on the left as well. And then obviously when he got that move to Barcelona for that big money, injuries killed his career, really. And obviously, again, another player that played from the right or from the left. But I think him going to PSG, and again, Luis Enrique changing his game, making him into a false nine. I think if you're looking at the front three of PSG, it's very fluid. You got Kvaratskhelia that starts out on the left-hand side. And then you got Dembele, obviously, through the middle, and then Doué or Barcola. But I think sometimes it does change. Kvaratskhelia might go on the right, Barcola will be on the left. But Dembele is always the one constant that plays through the middle and obviously does interchange. So it's a very fluid front three. And I think, as I said, he's gone to another level, because did I see him getting 51 GA in 53 games? I think anyone that's being serious would see his career, knowing that, he's a very, very talented player, but would you have him down as getting those numbers? And I thought, me personally, I didn't see that, but I think it's clear to see that, he's a top player, Ousmane Dembele. And yeah, as I said, him and Yamal were definitely the front runners for that. And I think another thing that people need to realize as well is that who would have seen Dembele winning a Balon d'Or ahead of Kylian Mbappe? I think if you're being honest, yeah, I think everyone in the chat right now, and guys, let me know if you agree. Did you guys see Dembele winning a Ballon d'Or before Mbappe? Be honest. Because if we look at football right now, football's more about PR, yeah? And Mbappe's got one of the best PRs in football. And to think that Dembele, who obviously come on the scene before Mbappe, obviously he come on before Mbappe, but the thing is, he's actually won a Ballon d'Or before him, you know? And listen, it is fair play to Dembele. Big up to Sham, because I didn't see Dembele winning a Ballon d'Or ahead of Mbappe. I think in terms of talent, I think Dembele's more talented than Mbappe. But as I said, I think a lot of it is based on popularity and PR. So to think that Dembele's won a Ballon d'Or ahead of Mbappe is crazy. And again, a lot of it comes down to the Champions League. And again, if Mbappe would have stayed at PSG, would he have won the Champions League with that PSG team? You know, who knows? Who knows? I think the fact that PSG let him go, well, I say let him go, he left on the free. I think their team as a whole has benefited from it, because I think too much focus would have been on Mbappe as the star man. And I think that front three, I think the responsibility is shared out between those three, or those four, including Doué, Barcola, Kvaratskhelia, and Dembele. So I think definitely, man, it has been a masterstroke from Luis Enrique, and Dembele definitely deserves, man, to win it. Again, I would have given it to Yamal, but Dembele winning it, fair enough. And I think now, does Mbappe ever win a Ballon d'Or? Because I think if Mbappe's being serious, he'll be looking at this thinking, I think deep down he'll be thinking, he cannot believe that Dembele's won a Ballon d'Or ahead of him. And that's something that might be going on in his mind. Again, that might be something that might be spurring him on. So I think Champions League this season, even the World Cup, I think Mbappe is going to be targeting those two competitions as something that he can target to get involved in this Ballon d'Or. Because I think for me, Yamal finishing second, I think it's going to be his trophy to lose, I think, in the next few seasons, because I think he's that good, But moving on to Yamal, I think we spoke about this the other day. I said if Yamal doesn't win the senior award, he's definitely going to win, the best young player, the Copper Trophy. And if he did win the senior, I think Doué would have got the young player. But I think it's obvious what's happened, and again, I did say this. So the fact that Dembele won the senior award, Lamine Yamal winning the Copper Trophy. And I think if we're being serious, again, well deserved. I think he's going to be, the next big star in world football. As I said, in terms of ability wise, I don't see too many players on his level, and I think the fact that he's only 18 years of age as well, he's got a lot more to offer. I think the more experience he gets, I think you're going to find a guy that's just going to see the game too easy. Because I think to be that good at that age, and again, let's not forget, he was a key player for club and country at 16. I think it's, I think the sky's the limit for Lamine Yamal. And again, just looking at Lamine Yamal's numbers, yeah, again, not nowhere, well, say nowhere near, but he wasn't near Dembele. But we're looking at Yamal, 55 appearances, 39 GA in all comps. So again, I'm not sure if there's been, let's say 17, yeah? I'm not sure if there's been a 17-year-old that has had that numbers. Like if there's any 17-year-old that has had numbers like that of 39 GA. And again, just to remind the newcomers that have come into here, big up to the Sash Abuno as well. I'm someone that doesn't really care about numbers, but I think for this purpose, we have to include numbers because that's what the Ballon d'Or is based on. I wish it wasn't, but I think that's what it's based on. So I think the fact that someone like Yamal at 17 has those numbers, again, it's kind of unheard of, you know. So I think definitely, man, this guy is going to be dominating in the future, you know, the more experienced he gets. Guys, come on, there's only 2 likes on there, guys. If you're liking the content and if you're new in here, smash the like button and sub to the channel as well. So yeah, listen, Dembele and Yamal, you know, deserved winners. Am I surprised? I'm not, because I had both of them down as winning the awards. And again, man, it's good to see. You know, obviously Rodri won it last year. Dembele is the holder now. Do I think Dembele retains it? I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's gonna come down to, again, I think because the World Cup's coming up as well, the Champions League and the World Cup is gonna be key. I think in terms of league, you know, as we know, Ballon d'Ors don't really get it on the league. It's Champions League and then obviously World Cup that is coming up. So again, those players there will be targeting that competition as a way of getting either a higher position or to win the whole thing, you know. And as I said, it's one of them things where it's one of them things where as I said, there'll be the likes of Mbappe definitely will be looking at that as a way of getting his name involved in that ring, you know. But let's go through some of the other guys, other players. We'll go through this top 10 as well. So third place, was it Vitinha? Was Vitinha third? I believe he was third. So Vitinha finishing third. I mean, Vitinha for me is a top player. And again, I think it's good that Vitinha was third, because I think Vitinha is someone that hasn't got the numbers. But if we're looking at pure quality, someone that can dictate the pace of a game, control games. And let's not forget as well, he did win the Champions League along with Dembele as well, that won the main award. I think it's good that you got players like Vitinha. I think we looked at Rodri as winning the Ballon d'Or. I think Rodri won that because did City win the Champions League? And then Rodri won the Euros as well, I believe. So that was a massive factor. Again, you know, Vitinha won Nations League. He won Champions League. So I think third place for Vitinha is very good. You know, I think he's a top player. And I think, you know, you guys have heard me say it before. For me, along with Pedri and Moises Caicedo and Ryan Gravenberch, I think you're looking at 4 of the best central midfielders in the world right now. You know, so the fact that he got third place Vitinha, I think is some doing, really. Because some of the names he finished against, which had better numbers, you know, I think it's one of them things where it's good to see that a player like that, you know, did come third. I never thought Vitinha was going to win it. Because as I said before, as we know, you know, it's based on numbers and what they win. So the fact that he's in the same team as Dembele was always going to come ahead of him because of the numbers and winning that Champions League as well. Mo Salah in fourth, you know, again, would I have had Mo Salah in fourth ahead of some of the others in the list? I possibly wouldn't. I possibly wouldn't. I think Mo Salah, again, his numbers were ridiculous, you know, 57 GA. I think he's got the highest GA, I believe, in Europe. So, again, it was probably right him being in that position when you think about it. You know, 57 GA in, I believe, 45 appearances in all comps, which is mad. But again, obviously, Mo Salah winning the league, you know, for Liverpool. But as we know, you know, you can't just win the league. It has to win one of the major trophies in Europe, which is obviously Champions League, which he didn't do. So, but I think fourth place for Mo Salah, I think, is probably fair. Fifth place, Rafinha. You know, Rafinha, 56 GA, only one short of Salah in 54 appearances. And I think Again, guys, keep your questions and comments coming through. I'll get through them after. So I think, with someone like Rafinha, you know, I think he's more of the surprise one, because to think that, he got that amount of GA and played as well as he did, I don't think there's anyone in the chat now that would be expecting Rafinha to be there, because I think this is a guy coming from Leeds, and clearly he was Leeds' best player. But I think when he first went to Barcelona, it was more of a case of, are they going to move him on? And I think ever since Hansi Flick come in, Hansi Flick has, he's taken his game to another level, really. And I think whenever you watch Rafinha, he's always involved, whether it's an assist or a goal. So, yeah, I think he's been a surprise package for me, Rafinha. But again, 56 GA in 54 appearances is crazy. But again, I watched a lot of Barca's games and he was very good. So, yeah, I think it's one of them things where he definitely does deserve to be in the conversation for sure. And then 6, Hakimi. I think, yeah, Hakimi, right now is the best right back in the world. And when I see a PSG player in that list, it's not surprising, because PSG, as I said, did win the Champions League. And then you've got the combination of Hakimi and Nuno Mendes, the two best fullbacks as a combination in world football. So again, it's not really a surprise that he's in there. Would I have had him 6? I mean, I don't really like seeing a right back really as high as that, But I mean, him win a Champions League and the effect that he had for PSG, I mean, yeah, I think I'm not really going to argue if he should be there or not. But I mean, him 6 is mad, but it is what it is. Kylian Mbappe 7th. Again, Mbappe, what did Mbappe get? So Mbappe got 42 GA in 56 appearances, so first season for Real Madrid. And to be fair, a great return of goals and assists combined. But again, Real Madrid won nothing, last season. And I think what I would tell you as well is that the fact that Vinicius Jr. finished second to Rodri and Vinicius Jr. didn't even make the top 10, it just shows you the drop-off of Vinicius Jr. But I think that's been coincided with the signing of Mbappe. And I did say Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. together, that combination doesn't really work, because there's two players there that want to be the number one guy, and it's weird how Mbappe's got into the top 10, finishing 7th, and Vinicius Jr., who finished second to Rodri, is nowhere to be seen in the top 10, which is mad. So, but again, Mbappe will be looking at the fact that Dembele, his international teammate, Mbappe's the captain as well for France. He's leading this generation of players. And to think that Dembele has won a Balon d'Or ahead of him, as I said, I don't think there's anyone in the world that watches football would have thought that. So I think Champions League, definitely, and the World Cup, I think Mbappe is going to be locked in, man, to be winning one of those and putting his name, on that trophy, Cole Palmer 8th. And again, I'm a massive fan of Cole Palmer. I think in terms of England's best talents, I think Cole Palmer's definitely up there. I think he's definitely in the top 2 for me in terms of the best talents that England have. Yeah, I definitely think he's up there. I think the fact that Chelsea won Conference League and the Club World Cup is why he's in there. Again, he had decent numbers as well. I can't remember the numbers that Palmer got, but, am I surprised he made the top 10? I am, to be fair, because there's a notable player that should be in there for me. And I think if we're looking at all the players on that list, you would probably say Cole Palmer might be the only one in there, really, that you would probably take out. And that's only because when you've got Dembele, obviously winning Champions League, Yamal, is Yamal, Vitinha, Hakimi, Donnarumma, and Mendes all winning Champions League. Mo Salah having the most GA and winning the league with Liverpool, and then you've got Mbappe. You probably look at Mbappe probably and Cole Palmer as the two names that, because Rafinha got good numbers as well and won a league title. I think you're looking at Mbappe and Cole Palmer as the two players there. If you're going to take two players out of that list, has to be them, purely because they both didn't win major trophies or win anything at all. So you're looking at those players. But as I said, Cole Palmer for me, top player. Obviously, I think he's injured at the moment. But yeah, I think, as I said, man, I think people might be looking at that as one player that might not, that probably shouldn't be in the top 10. I think definitely top 20, but top 10, maybe you might take him and Mbappe out for a few other players. Who knows? Number 9, again, a goalkeeper, Donnarumma. I think I've got no complaints with this. I mean, usually I don't like seeing goalkeepers in the top 10 for best for Balon d'Or, because again, we are talking about the best players in the world. And again, I'm not going to touch on the top 20 because when I'm seeing names like Scott McTominay, Serhou Guirassy in the top 10, I can't take that seriously. So I'm just not going to entertain that, man, to be honest with you. But listen, Donnarumma for me is the best keeper probably in the world right now. I mean, people will say Thibaut Courtois, Alisson, but I think Donnarumma is, Champions League winner as well. Obviously, since he's gone to Man City, you can clearly see he's taken City, defensively up a level with his presence in goal. And I think if you're going to have a keeper in there, I mean, yeah, I think he won the best goalkeeper as well of the year, which fair enough. And to be fair, he deserves his place in that list. Again, would I have him in the top 10 if it's more based on footballers for me? I wouldn't, but I think he definitely deserves to be in the list. So, yeah, big up to Donnarumma, man, because he's had a great year. Let's be honest. And then number 10, Nuno Mendes. Again, mentioned him with Hakimi. Again, I'm not surprised that Mendes is in there because I think you got Hakimi and Mendes as a pairing, and individually, you're looking at the two best fullbacks in the world right now, clearly. So, and again, I was saying this as well. I said Nuno Mendes. Again, I knew Mendes was never going to win the Ballon d'Or, but Mendes had more of a chance of winning the Ballon d'Or than anyone as well because he won the same amount as what Dembele won. And let's not forget as well, he won the Nations League, just like Vitinha. So him and Vitinha actually done exactly the same thing. But again, it was Dembele's numbers that done it for him as well as winning Champions League. Because I do believe if Dembele didn't have good numbers and he still won the Champions League, I still think I think Yamal probably wins it or someone else. But I think Dembele's numbers are hard to argue. Plus, he won Champions League as well. The one absentee, guys, before we finish that off, before I go through your questions, the one absentee for me that should be in this list is Pedri. I think Pedri for me, as I said before, along with Vitinha, and along with Moises Caicedo and Ryan Gravenberch, they're the best midfielders in the world right now. I actually think Pedri's number 1 for me. I think Pedri's so good. I liken Pedri to Iniesta. I think he's the closest player to an Iniesta type that I've seen. He's probably a bit more defensive, I would say, than what Iniesta was. But in terms of influence, in terms of dictating the play, there ain't no one better in world football right now than Pedri for me. So for me, I'd have Pedri in the top 10. So where would I rank Pedri? I would like to put Pedri 3rd. I think because PSG won Champions League, it's hard to put him above Vitinha. But I would possibly put him in. Yeah, you could probably I'd put him ahead of Mbappe or Cole Palmer for me. Because I think players like Pedri don't come around too often, And as I said, Mbappe's got in there because of his numbers and his PR. But Pedri should just be in there because he's a pure footballer. He won a league title as well. So he's the one absentee that I would have definitely put in there. So either Mbappe or Palmer would have come out for me. And Pedri would definitely be in there. So yeah, that's the top 10. And as I said, I don't really have too much of a problem with that 10. except for the likes of Pedri should be in there for me, 100%. But guys, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know if you think that Pedri should be in the top 10, or let me know if you think that top 10 is correct. So, or let me know if you think the winner's correct. You know, so again, Dembele number 1, Yamal 2, Vitinha 3, Salah 4, Rafinha 5, Hakimi 6, Mbappe 7, Cole Palmer 8, Donnarumma 9, and Nuno Mendes 10. So let me know what you think, guys, and I'm going to go through some of your questions. Big up yourselves. Smash that like button and sub to the channel, guys, if you're new in there. So Lumi says, Maresca is a clown saying clubs can't compete with Liverpool because of what they've spent. Chelsea has spent a lot more over the last 5 years. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't really know what Maresca's on there. Again, I haven't seen the actual comments, but I think what Maresca done to Chelsea at Man United the other day, I think is probably some of the worst decision making I've ever seen. I think, let's be honest with you, yeah, Robert Sanchez killed his team with that decision to come out and foul Mbeumo. But what you don't do, yeah, what you don't do is take off 2 wide players at the same time, knowing that you've got a player in Cole Palmer that isn't fully fit either. If you're going to take off Esteval, fair enough, yeah, but keep on Pedro Neto because he's an outlet. And the thing is, what he could have done is kept Pedro Neto, take off Esteval, and then play Neto and Palmer, you know, next to João Pedro. The fact that he took off Neto and Willian Esteval, he threw the game away. And I think, for me, I look at things like that and think, you know what? That's a sackable offence to do that. I had no idea what he was... Well, I had an idea what he was doing. He was thinking to bring on... obviously, Tosin had to come on because of the sending off to... Well, I mean, Jorgensen, sorry, had to come on for Esteval. And then he changed the system to put on Tosin for Neto and go through at the back and put Reece James and Cucurella wing back. But the problem is with that, it was 6 minutes into the game. That change should have come, you know, because the game was still 0-0, you know. And as we know, United don't really create chances like that anyway. So he could have had the attacking outlet of Neto with his pace, have Cole Palmer on there still, and then have João Pedro to hold the ball up. The fact that he took off Esteval and Pedro Neto at the same time made no sense. And then you're leaving João Pedro, and then Cole Palmer comes off injured, which means the only outlet you've got for an attack is João Pedro. And then the problem is, when you get back into the game, which is what Chelsea did, making it 2-1, and you're playing 10 versus 10, you've only got one real outlet, that's an attacking outlet in João Pedro. And as you can see, a lot of the time, João Pedro was attacking by himself. He brought on Tyreek George as well, which Tyreek George ain't ready and isn't probably good enough either. You know, so I think the fact that Maresca done that was poor. It was poor management, you know. And as I said, watching the game and he done that, it made no sense, you know. To take off those 2 attackers in Esteval and Neto, and then Palmer gets injured, what he should have done really is speak to Palmer to see if Palmer's okay to carry on the game, and then take off Palmer and have those 2 as the outlet. That's what he should have done, you know, and have the 2 in midfield of Enzo and Caicedo, and have you know, Esteval and Neto as the outlets on the wing. But what I believe what Maresca done, Maresca tried to be too smart. That's what he is. He thought he was smart. Because what he done is that he thought, let me take off those 2 players, yeah? Obviously, Palmer was enforced. But he thought, let me take off those 2 players and try and think I'm smarter than everyone else. And then obviously, if they win the game, it's like people be looking at it thinking that he's done some kind of masterclass. But what he done is killed his team with that decision. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure what he's talking about, the money spent. You know, he had money spent with that team he had against United and threw the game away. So I ain't really here for that, really, you know. So Sham's saying he was a huge prospect in Dortmund, which got him the big move to Barca, but he was injury prone. No one expected him to win it in the coming years. But PSG won 4 trophies and he played a big part. I agree. And again, before Dembele went to Borussia Dortmund, he was actually meant to come to Man United. But again, I think, as we know with many players, development's probably best served at Borussia Dortmund. And then when he got the big move to Barca, obviously injuries killed him. But Dembele's always been, someone that's been highly thought of, and it's good to see him, playing regularly at PSG, because the guy's always had ridiculous talent. Some people actually think as well Dembele's left-footed, which is crazy because he's right-footed, but he's very two-footed. So, but yeah, listen, I'm happy he's won a Balon d'Or. I would have given it to Yamal, but I think you can't really complain that he's got it. So Lumi says Yamal had an inconsistent patch last year. I think every player goes through inconsistencies, but I think the big thing with Yamal is that Yamal always makes something happen in every game. And a player that young shouldn't really be doing it at the moment. He should be feeling his way into the team. But he's that good at that age, we're always expecting him to go and do something, which just speaks volume for how good he is, Yeah, big up to Lumi. So GNA is like likes and subscribes. Doesn't always reflect a player's true ability. You know what? That's a great what do they call it again? That's a great comment, Lumi, because that's true. That's true. But big up, yeah, I agree with that a lot. Big up to the Sash as well. Says I love you so much. Thank you. Yeah, big up, man. Thank you. Appreciate it. SM says Rafinha should be top 3. I mean, to be honest with you, I can see why you're saying that because of the numbers. I think the reason why I don't think he should be top 3 is because, as I said, it shouldn't be based on numbers. It should be based on trophies won, really. So, I mean, people might say Rafinha should be there ahead of Yamal because both of them done the same thing. But Rafinha got better GA. But I think the fact that Yamal comes second is good for football because it's about being the absolute best player. And as I said, Champions League won for Dembele. Vitinha won Champions League, so that's why he had to be in there as well. So yeah, I think where Rafinha finished, which was 5th, I think that's probably fair. I mean, I would probably say him and Mo Salah are tied because Salah got one more GA than him. Salah won the league, Rafinha won the league. So I think, yeah, where he's finished is fine for me. I don't really have a problem with that. Goal Zone says Balon d'Or for Dembele. Yep. Kane deserved to be top 10. Do you know what? I was thinking that because Kane got mad numbers and he won a Bundesliga as well. So if we're looking at, I mean, guys, anyone know how much GA Kane got actually last season? Because if we're looking at the fact that Salah and Rafinha are in there because of GA and winning the league title, then I think Harry Kane has to be in there as well, if we're actually thinking about that. But yeah, if anyone knows how much GA Kane got, put that in the chat, guys. Let me know. Big up to Arsenal and Pakistan cricket team. Oh, I see you're on, Where was you, Arsenal and Pakistan cricket team, when Arsenal drew that game to Man City, luckily? Where was you? Victor Gyökeres wins the Gerd Muller Award. Oh, was that for the most goals scored in Europe, was that, I was saying? Big up to GW Marshall. Big up to Jude Fenwick. Big up Jude for coming through. Gav, do you feel it was fair for Messi to win it in 2010? Xavi and Iniesta won whatever Messi won with Barca, but both won the World Cup with Spain that year, and Iniesta even scored in the World Cup final. Yeah, big up Sham, man. Great question. You know what it is, yeah? I see where you're going with this, and I think just based on what you've said there, it probably was fair that Iniesta should have won based on him winning the World Cup and obviously him winning the same thing, him and Xavi winning the same thing that Messi did. I think Messi is probably an anomaly. I look at Messi as an anomaly in the sense that there's some players there that you just have to give it to because they're just quite clearly the best player. For me, I'd always give Ballon d'Or to the absolute best player, and then I look at the GA as a bonus. And for me, Messi was so clearly the best player in the world, and he had the numbers to back it up as well. So it's difficult because I would have loved to seen Iniesta win a Ballon d'Or, because Iniesta for me, when we're talking about the real greats of football, the midfield greats, I have Iniesta in my top three. I mean, it's a difficult three. As midfielders, I have him in my top three. I think he's that good, central midfielders. So I would have loved to have seen Iniesta win a Ballon d'Or, but I think sometimes players like Messi, players like Ronaldinho, R9, those kind of players there, for me, I'm not going to disagree when they win it. But you're probably right. Iniesta probably should have won it. But again, it's Messi, I'm not going to argue when Messi wins Ballon d'Or because it should just be the best player. Big up to Johnny, man. Says, do I have a place in this stream as a crew fan? Listen, anyone's got a space in this channel, in this stream. If you like football, pure football. I don't care what team you support. If you're here for just pure footballing conversation, and it's respectful, listen, I don't care what team you support, Crew Alexandra, Dario Gradi, big up Dario Gradi. If you're still in the chat, Johnny, man, yeah, listen, make sure you make yourself known. All the mods will make you feel welcome as well, man. So yeah, listen, Dario Gradi, man, was a crew manager for years. I'm not sure where he is now, but yeah, big up yourself, man. Big up. Another bold take. Martinelli will cook this season. He will get at least 20 GA. And this is what I mean about Arsenal fans. Martinelli scores a goal, and all of a sudden we're getting people coming in there saying he's going to get 20 GA. Okay. You know what I mean? He's got 2 at the moment, so let's just relax with that. The only placement I really disagree with is Pedri. Yeah, listen, Pedri should definitely be in the top 10 for me, 100%. No doubt, man. The guy is unreal, man. As I said, he's probably the best midfielder in the world right now for me, along with the others that I've mentioned. Ryan 8 Nouri, not in contention for being one of the best wing-backs in the world. I mean, there's not even an award for the best fullback, I don't think, is there? I mean, the best left-back in the top 10 is Nuno Mendes. There's no doubt in that. Best right-back is Hakimi, so I'm not going to disagree with that. But 8 Nouri is a very good player. Like, he's top class, 8 Nouri. But if he's in the... I mean, if there's a top 3, then I'll be interested to see who's in the top 3. But I don't think there's an award for that. So, yeah. Gav, was Partey underrated last season? 100%. Thomas Partey was Arsenal's best midfielder last season. He was. I mean, Declan Rice got all the plaudits because of the 2 free kicks against Real Madrid. But if you know your football, man, you know that Thomas Partey was crucial for Arsenal. And obviously now that he's gone, Zubimendi, is probably a better technical player. But they're going to miss Partey's physicality in that midfield. So again, yeah, he was key. So Jude says swap Rafinha with Vitinha. Again, I wouldn't, because I don't care about GA. I just care about the footballer. And I think there's no one that can underestimate the importance that Vitinha gives to his team. So, yeah, listen, I'm not going to say that Vitinha should be out of there and Rafinha should. I think Vitinha deserves to be in there. I think the only thing that I have is that if you're going to put Vitinha in there, and again, rightfully so because of winning the Champions League, I would like to see Pedri in there as well, Salah above Rafinha. Yeah, listen, Lakshya, big up yourself. I think, again, it was either... if you look at the fact that Salah and Rafinha are both neck and neck, really, the only reason Salah's ahead of Rafinha is because Salah had 1 more GA than Rafinha in less games as well. So that's the only reason. So I think looking at Rafinha and Salah, they're more or less in the same position. You know, because it's just Salah got one more GA than him in less games, so that's why he's in there. But I don't really have a problem with that, you know, because they've both done exactly the same thing. You know, probably you would say Rafinha should be ahead because Rafinha won Copa del Rey as well. So yeah, Rafinha probably should be ahead of him because he won Copa del Rey and the league. Salah won just the league. So yeah, you're probably saying that Rafinha probably should be ahead based on that, but he's only got in there because of the GA. Yeah, listen, we went through that, man. Maresca, that was criminal what he done. You can't do that. Big up to Gautam Barati, Barca fan. Big up. William Saliba gave Haaland so much space. Well, listen, that's his problem, innit? Big up to Lewis Jackson. Big up, Lewis. Maresca hasn't played Gittins, Garnacho, Hato, Asugo, etc. much. He's fed up having to develop raw players now, in my opinion. I hear it. I mean, I don't know how much what's the word, sway that Maresca had in terms of those players. But what I will tell you is the Gittins and Garnacho signing makes no sense for me. Yorel Hato, I like him. I think he's one for the future, you know, centre back or left back. And Dario Asugo, I think, can become good, but he's going to be the understudy to Moises Caicedo. So, yeah, listen, the Garnacho and Gittins one makes no sense to me. It doesn't. Um, Dembele, Rafinha, Yamal or Salah didn't deserve to win it. The best player last season was Nuno Mendes. No questions, no arguments. That's a fact, bro. Well, listen, I think Nuno Mendes for me, you know, was ridiculous. But as we already know, guys, you know, Balon d'Or is based on GA, whether we like it or not. You know, I wish it wasn't. I wish it was based on just the absolute best footballer. But Nuno Mendes, for me, is a top player, but was never going to win it, really, because he's a defender, you know. So that's what it is, really. Yeah, Maldini, listen. I mean, the only defender to win it, really, of recent times was Fabio Cannavaro. He's the only one. So I'm pretty sure Kane is close to scoring his 100th goal for Bayern already, which is crazy, by the way. So he probably got around 45 plus at least. I think he passed the 100 goals on the weekend just gone. But listen, yeah, Harry Kane, man, is ridiculous. I mean, his goal scoring rate is just ridiculous, you know. He's absolutely ridiculous. But again, if we're saying Harry Kane got 45 GA and he won a Bundesliga, then again his GA is not more than Rafinha or Salah. So yeah, I can see what they've done on the placements, really. Just that I don't agree that Pedri's not in there. You know, but everyone else is what it is. I'm talking about top 10. Gav, do you think Hakimi deserves to be 89 on FC 26? Yeah, probably. Probably. I mean, best right back in the world right now. Yeah. Why not? Why not? I need to start playing that new FIFA. I need to buy that very soon. Messi should have won the Balon d'Or because he won 2015 Champions League and 2022 World Cup. Well, he won the Balon d'Or in 2022 for winning the World Cup. And 2015, I believe he won that as well. So I'm not sure what he's saying. End edit. Big up to Gaz SFC. Yeah, big up, man. Appreciate it. Big up to Jay, man. Big up, Jay. Joshua says, very few players can do a 1v1 and race a quick shot anymore. Long distance and tap-ins are everywhere now. Mate, listen, football's changed a lot, man, from what it used to be. You know, which is why when you see players like Lamine Yamal, Pedri, Vitinha, you know, the Cole Palmers, they're just true technicians. You know, they're real quality players. I look at that list, yeah, and as I said, Vitinha. If we're talking about true technicians, not including Nuno Mendes because defender, the only technicians on that top 10 list are Yamal, Vitinha, and Cole Palmer. You know, I think Dembele, Salah, Rafinha, Mbappe, not mentioning Hakimi and Mendes and Donnarumma because they're a goalkeeper and defenders. But them guys are more about pace, whereas Yamal, Vitinha, and Cole Palmer, they're all about, pure technical ability. So, yeah. Last season, Kane had 55 GA, 41 goals, 14 assists. Season before, he had 56 GA, 44 goals, 12 assists. And this season, he's played 7 games, 13 goals, and 3 assists. Okay. So, again, just based on that, yeah. Again, so the fact that Kane got 55 GA, big up to me. That's why he probably wasn't in that list. Because if you look at the two players that just won a league title, yeah, and got GA, it's Mo Salah and Rafinha. And those two had one or two goals more than Kane. So you can see why Kane didn't make it. Donnarumma, Mendes won Champions League, just like Hakimi. That's why they're in there, along with Vitinha. I think Cole Palmer was in there because of the Club World Cup. Because you think Kane won just the Bundesliga. So that's probably why he wasn't in the top 10. But I heard today that Kane finished below Guirassy. And did he finish below Guirassy and McTominay or something like that? I mean, that's just ridiculous if that was true. But I can see why Kane wasn't in there. Because they put two guys with the better GA in Rafinha and Salah. That's basically what it was. Big up to Ozgun. Big up Ozgun for coming through. Ozgun thinks Ronaldo's the GOAT. Not for me. Not for me. Messi, Ronaldinho, R9 are my 3 favourites, man. They're my 3 favourites, definitely. Yeah, listen. Big up to Arsenal and Pakistan cricket team. Arjen Robben was saying Kelsman. Arjen Robben was ridiculous, Again, another player that was underrated, because I don't see no one close to that kind of player that Arjen Robben was, in terms of how he plays. He's ridiculous. Guys, make sure you smash the like button and make sure you sub to the channel. And guys, most importantly, make sure you share this channel as well. So again, if you guys go onto other streams, make sure you share this channel as well, guys. Big up yourselves. Me says, I was happy to see Scott finish 12th. Wait, McTominay finished 12th. Yeah, let's just bypass that. I don't want to be seeing that. Big up to Brayo Lewis says, hey, bro, man from Kenya, East Africa. Do you think Cole Palmer deserved even top 10? Again, already spoken about it. Big up yourself to Brayo. I think if we're being honest, that top 10, I think you're looking at Cole Palmer and Mbappe probably as 2 that could be replaced by others. And as I said, I mentioned Pedri already. I think those 2 could be replaced by others, in my opinion. But listen, Cole Palmer's a top player, man. Top player. But yeah, I think Pedri should be in there. And whether it's for Mbappe or Palmer, I'll be happy. Put it that way. Guirassy is so underrated. I don't think he's underrated. I mean, he does score goals, but to put him in the top 20 is madness, to be honest. Gav, how do you feel about your win over Chelsea? You think a little bit of pressure off Amorim? I think I spoke about this earlier. I mean, there's no pressure off Amorim. He has to go to Brentford and Sunderland to win. As I said, he needs to get a minimum 6 points. If he gets less than 6 points against Brentford and Sunderland, I don't want to see him in charge at Liverpool. I don't want to see him here anyway. So Ineos would have a decision to make, because to get no 6 points against those 2 teams is unacceptable for the start United have had and for what this manager has conjured since he's come to the club. So yeah, minimum 6 points. As I said, I think that game against Chelsea was a one-off game because Robert Sanchez killed his team, and the decisions by Maresca was just ridiculous. So one-off game, guys. So Winston says United getting relegated this season. I think you already said that before, Winston. I mean, under this manager, man, who knows? But yeah, I don't see it. But I say I don't see it. It's not going to happen. But listen, let's just hope that this manager's not here any longer. Because as I said, I'm going to keep the same energy, and yeah, he needs to go, man. For me, 100%. Gav, what do you think about the World Cup 26 drama tournament being hosted in USA and Iran has qualified and Spain might boycott the tournament too? I mean, I've not heard none of that. I've not heard Spain boycotting the tournament. I think this World Cup's going to be good. I think what's going to happen as well, I think the league campaign, Champions League, is going to be impacted by players wanting to keep themselves fit for the World Cup. Guys, sorry. McTominay's an 85 rating on FIFA 26. Yeah, I think FIFA's done, man. How can McTominay be 85? McTominay's an 85 rating. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Yeah, that's madness. I'm not even going to entertain that, man. I can't believe that. McTominay an 85 rating. Criminal. Big up to Mohammed for coming through. Right, guys, I'm going to wrap up in 5 minutes. So if you guys got any more questions or any more comments to make, let me know. I'm going to wrap up in like 5 minutes. I've heard that FIFA is going to ban Israel from the qualifiers in Euros. I mean, that's new to me, man. I've not heard none of that. I'll believe it when I see it. People are saying he deserves 87. Yeah, but these people ain't football fans. They're just trolls, man. If anyone thinks that Scott McTominay deserves to be higher than an 85, I mean, yeah, I'm not sure what kind of football you've seen. I mean, Scott McTominay realistically is an 80 rating player. 80 rating. And that's being generous, you know. Chelsea versus Lincoln today, predictions. I mean, I reckon Chelsea beat Lincoln 5. They're at home. If they're at home, I think 5-0. Oh, they're travelling to Lincoln. Okay, so probably 3-4-0, I'd expect. I'd expect that. Yeah, I think 3-4-0 Chelsea be aiming for. I mean, I just seen their team now. Jorgensen's in goal. Gusto's right back. Fofana and Chalaba centre back. Yoro Hato's left back. Midfield 2 of Andre Santos and Enzo Fernandez. Gittins on the left. Garnacho's on the right. Burnett is in the 10. And Tyreek George up top. So, yeah. Gav, what was the best defence in the Premier League in 24-25 season? I mean, you have to look at the team that won the league in Liverpool. You know, I think if we're looking at the best defences, the 2 best defences in the Premier League, again, everything's going to point towards Van Dijk and Konate, and then Saliba and Gabriel. So, and again, those 2 teams finish in the top 2. So you have to say those 2 teams had the best defences, you know. Could it change this season? Who knows? Who knows? But Maresca said he's afraid of these type of games, and also they're playing at Lincoln. They have a 100% record this season at home. Yeah, but come on, they're a Premier League team, man. So I know United went to Grimsby and messed it up, but I think Chelsea should be looking at that as no problem at all. You know, even if they do change their team. So it's one of them things. But guys, listen up. Big up yourselves for coming on. Again, if you're new in here, guys, make sure you sub to the channel And make sure you smash the like button as well if you've enjoyed the content. Again, I'm going to put these into chapters, guys. So I'll probably do that possibly tomorrow at some point. So, yeah, big up to Jay, man. So, yeah, as I said, guys, make sure you guys are checking out my other content as well. As I said, I'm going to try and put this into chapters. So if there's anything in particular you want to see me talk about, you guys can just go straight onto it. So I'll possibly do that tomorrow at some point. But yeah, listen, big up yourselves each and every time. Big up to all the mods as well. Big up to all the newcomers. And as I said, check out my other content, guys. There's some good content on there. And I should be back. So normally I'm back, obviously, in the morning at 11:30. But tomorrow I'm not available tomorrow morning. So I might be back in the evening, probably 7:30. I'll have to see. I'm not too sure yet. But again, keep an eye, guys, on my schedule to see when I do go live. And as I said, if you haven't smashed that like button, make sure you do. Obviously, helps the channel to grow. And again, make sure you share the channel as well, guys. Share the channel on other platforms if you can. And again, make sure you sub if you're new in here. Much appreciated. So yeah, I'll probably catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good rest of the evening, guys. Take it easy.